just to introduce TI initially, Texas Instruments is producing innovative technology that's used by more than 20 million students worldwide. So TI is a global education company that's been associated with education for at least 30 years. The topic of the talk is really formative assessment. We've seen many examples of that throughout the course of today. I'd like to talk in particular about formative assessment using TI Inspire and Navigator. And we've got an example here of a classroom that's using wireless handheld technology in conjunction with an interactive board, and they're looking at a Pythagorean puzzle. And you can see the multiple representations there and also the multi-screen. So it's actually showing the screens of the individual students' handhelds there. Now, with this technology, the student is in a position to actually be in control. So we have a student here who's actually demonstrating with their handheld, and he's actually leading the lesson, and he's going through his solution to this particular puzzle. Now, that's introducing TI. Now, what I'd like to talk about now is really practical uses of the technology, how we've used this new technology last summer during the ICTMT conference in a workshop with teachers and educators working together. And the example is from Alison Clark-Wilson, who I think may be sitting here, at Chichester University, and Cindy Hunt, who's a teacher at Davison's Girls' School in Worthing. And essentially, we've asked a class of students to give me two numbers, or to give the teacher two numbers that, when squared, sum to 25. Now, hopefully, you can see a pattern there, or something emerging, and it's that aha moment, that insight, that constructive moment that we're looking for in the classroom. Okay, so that's a particular example that I wanted to share with you. Another example of using this technology is in questioning. During the summer, we had a discussion with MEI and a detailed discussion with Tom Button from the MEI, who's presenting tomorrow. And this was around post-16 questioning. So the examples that we saw before are really middle school mathematics, Key Stage 4. So now we're talking about Key Stage 5, and we're talking about post-16, advanced level mathematics. So here's an example of a question that's been asked using the wireless system. Essentially, we're looking for composite functions that go through a particular point. And I hope you can see here, we've got a range of answers. We asked a whole class, and the idea is really that misconceptions can be seen quite quickly and identified quite quickly. And again, this is giving insight to the classroom. The teacher is then able to focus on an individual student's example, and here we have an example from a particular student of the composite function. And really our dialogue in using this technology with the MEI is which particular view is more useful from a teaching point of view, getting an individual student to present, or the multiple screen view when we're looking at the whole class together. Okay, so here's an example. Last week I was in an inset with a group of teachers, and one of the teachers came up with this wonderful example, and I thought it was best to let that particular teacher be the student and explain that particular example of his polar graph there. So just a few examples of using the technology. The technology can also be used for data logging. So tomorrow, for example, I'm working with a primary school, and the students will actually be presenting their work back. They'll be measuring reflectivity of light and presenting their findings. And it's amazing to see them use the handhelds and actually present in the same way that a university student might. And they're discovering their science, and they're learning about their science. So that's another aspect of this particular technology. So the emphasis is really portability and flexibility, and that's the message that I wanted to get across